Hey all, 4GT Strong here, and today we'll be taking a look at Asphalt's newest expansion, series, update, whatever you want to call it, and we'll be taking a slight retrospective on it in contrast to my predictions of Asphalt 10. Now, before you click off the video just thinking that this is another discussion about the expansion and its features, this is not. While I will be explaining the expansion for context, I'm going to be taking a deep dive into the implications of this expansion on the series. More specifically, I'll be taking a look at what the future holds for this series and how it could affect future entries such as Asphalt 10 if they ever come out. Obviously, this video is a bit past the time of the announcement of the update, I think by about a month or so, and other creators have just kind of already done that, so there's really no point in me doing that. With that disclaimer out of the way, let's get into it. So as I said earlier, the Asphalt 9 expansion is coming soon, but before looking at its implications on the series, I think we just need to look at it a bit for what it is. Asphalt Unite is an expansion that expands the current game of Asphalt 9 to other platforms and gives it a bunch of new features, graphics, and other nice quality of life updates. While I certainly have my opinions on if this is a new game or a new update, Asphalt's way of calling it an expansion I think is the best way to go by it. As much as I'm chomping at the bit to dispute this gray area, and as much as I want to tell you that you're wrong and I'm right because I'm always right, I'm gonna just call it an expansion for the sake of simplicity and accuracy. But in short, as I said earlier, this expansion will be changing a lot of things that could help break the repetitive gameplay loop and nature of Asphalt 9. There will be better multiplayer features, a new UI, better graphics, and cross-platform, and those are all absolutely awesome additions. But the single most overlooked thing about this update is simply a number. While the number behind the Asphalt name itself only tells us how many games there have been in the series, its absence tells a whole different story. The absence of this number is incredibly important because it implies that this is the Asphalt game that you should be playing rather than just another entry. If you know anything about my older videos though, you will know about my pessimistic attitude towards newer entries in the Asphalt series. So in other words, this establishes that Asphalt Unite is going to be the go-to Asphalt game for the foreseeable future, and it effectively brings the series to a close. Now obviously this is all speculation on my part, and I'm not really the most reliable source for this because I'm just some random person on the internet. But many of the people who are linked to the game and many of people who are working on the game have kind of hinted at this, well, not explicitly saying it of course. When the expansion was announced, I was obviously very excited, but I was also left a little bit confused by some of the videos I watched about what would be happening in the expansion. Many of the videos initially displaying the changes that would happen in the expansion just didn't really explain it very well. So I went to articles, of course. After reading the articles, I was a little bit more aware about what would be happening to the franchise, but I also found some quotes from the manager of the Asphalt series in these articles. The manager of the Asphalt series, Ignacio Marin, has stated many things that lead me to believe that this is the definitive end of the Asphalt series. In many of the articles that I've read, he's been stating things such as, "We are committed to expanding the game to deliver the most definitive Asphalt experience. Dropping the number in the title is our statement. This is Asphalt, uniting all our players now and for the future. Unite is a statement for us, and it not only signifies all of our player bases uniting and finally playing together, but it also opens a world of possibilities that we want to take our time to explore." Now, on the surface level, this might not seem like much, but some of the statements like, "We want to take our time to explore," and that we want to unite all of our players for now and the future, and that they want this to be the definitive Asphalt experience, leads me to believe that this is the final stop in the franchise. Now, that being said, this is Gameloft's cash cow. They're obviously not going to stop making updates, but I think that they will favor microtransactions and they will be updating rather than making a new game from the ground up because it's significantly more expensive and it requires less effort. Now, as I said, updates will of course still occur, but series entries like Asphalt 10 are looking like more and more of a fantasy rather than a reality in recent years. So, to many including myself, the longer game cycle and lack of innovation between Asphalt 8 and 9 made this a very realistic possibility. But these statements absolutely solidify that this is the last part of Asphalt. To me, this is pretty sad because I want to see the Asphalt series continue to improve itself rather than stagnate and just offer content updates. I don't want them just to be complacent with the status quo. I want them to keep innovating and making the game more fun. I think Asphalt is treading down a path that many other racing games such as Forza have gone in, and unfortunately, there has been a demise to some degree. Going back to the example of Forza Horizon, I love the innovation that most of the games in the series have brought, but Forza Horizon 5 did not carry on with this trend. Now admittedly, the game is the most popular game in the Forza series, but there is so much bloat and it makes the game feel super stale. I bet if you looked at the retention rate and the player rate on Steam that it would show a different story from the amount of people who were playing at launch. It was a fun and invigorating experience being a festival boss in Horizon 3, and it was fun experiencing the new seasons and weather in Forza Horizon 4. But the novelty has worn off, and the seemingly repetitive gameplay in Forza Horizon 5 has made me and many others stop playing. I literally played 3 and 4 for years on end and very frequently, but I've been struggling to play 5 for the last couple of years. Now, of course, I've had a lot of fun playing Forza Horizon 5 when it first came out in the first year. I had a lot of fun with friends who were still enjoying the game, but none of them seemed to play anymore, and I found myself in that camp as well. I just couldn't keep playing the same thing over and over and over again. Now, it's a little different in the situation of Forza Horizon because they can always pick themselves up by bringing innovations to the next game or the next entry, and that might be 3 years down the road or whatever. But with Asphalt solidifying this as the final game, I just don't see it happening due to significant changes being relegated to new entries in the Asphalt series. And admittedly, in the last couple of years, I've been feeling burnout of Asphalt games as well. Doing the same thing over and over and over again has led me to play the game only a couple times a year. Of course I revisit 8, 7, 6, and all the other ones every once in a while because I'm just so incredibly nostalgic about them, but given that Asphalt 9 has no nostalgia factor and that I'm just generally not interested in wasting my life on that game and just doing the same thing over and over again, I just found myself straying away from the series. So just in summary of my rambling, I've had a similar experience with Forza, Asphalt, and many other games that just don't innovate that much. I just have less of a desire to play them over time, and they just don't appeal as much to me anymore. Of course, this is with a lesser extent to Asphalt because this is one of the main games I've been playing all my life, but it still stands. But to be honest, the lack of a new game would drive many people away because there's just not a new change in progression or gameplay or anything else of that nature. Many of the Asphalt games have totally different vibes, and that's honestly drawn people in when they get tired of the last entry. This makes me a bit sad. One of my favorite game series of all time is just coming to an end. I'd love to keep making content on Asphalt and other similar things, but those other similar things are looking more and more tempting by the day because I don't have the same drive to play Asphalt as I have in the last decade. And I think many other people and many other creators also feel the same way as I do. Obviously, I've stopped uploading as much in the recent months, and even other huge creators in the Asphalt space have stopped uploading, such as Furum Films. He has been consistently one of the most popular and most liked Asphalt creators, but as of late he's just stopped uploading for this reason. The burnout of this game has just been incredibly real, and it's a reality that's setting in for a lot of us. It's just really sad that this series that has been going on so long and has made so much progress in terms of establishing itself as its own racing game is just coming to an end. Obviously, it kind of started itself off as a mobile clone of other racing games, but as it evolved, it became increasingly unique, and as such, it became a favorite of many people. But anyways, on a less somber note, thank you for watching the video. I hope you all like the new approach that I'll be taking to this channel going forwards in terms of looking at other racing games, but also Asphalt just to a lesser extent. See you all later. Take care.